When does it start?
Already.
When does it start?
If you know when it started, he's failed. The idea is you're awkwardly talking, not thinking it hasn't started, and it already has.
So I'm sat here sweating. Yeah. You just said don't say too much though before it starts.
So he's always deliberately trying to do this. But,
So yeah, we started.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, I'm thinking.
this. MI5 or something.
So I think we've established the first thing is that this room's too hot.
Mm-hmm. We're going to need some silent air conditioning. So if you are
Get your wallet out.
if you're a local Salisbury business that does air conditioning,
You're getting in now.
Please, can you get in touch?
When we get in the flow of it, we'll need some sort of jingle.
Salisbury Business Podcast. Salisbury Business Podcast.
Whoa, just off the cuff?
Yeah.
Did you just think of that?
What is that though? Why have I
I'm
got
kidding. It's shit. Tom Robinson. What do you do?
ETN Glass Gutters. So we do windows, doors, fascia soffits, gutters, insulation, repairs, a little bit of maintenance.
Is it all based in Salisbury as well?
No.
No.
Well, most of it.
Yeah.
Southampton, been in Christchurch last week, Portsmouth, do a lot around Surrey, Farnham, Guildford.
How's that come about? Just like people that you've worked with before, or just
like knowing people, or and just recommendations really.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I figured out about the trade community is that like you take everybody with you, don't you? If you know a good brickie, if you know a good and you're doing a project somewhere, you're like, hey Lewis, come here, or hey Tom, come here.
There's someone from Salisbury that I used to go to Farnham, which is a bit of a trek to do some work as well on a job. So
and so I imagine that anybody who does know you, because you do have quite a lot of people that know you around Salisbury.
Popular
kid, I mean, no, probably not.
Like everybody knows Tom.
No, do you know what? Actually, no, because my son says this, and my kids. They're like, why does everyone like say hello to you? And it's because of football. Like, I know so many people from football, but then because I haven't played football for ages, like
starting to wean itself.
Yeah, basically. No,
he's like, why does nobody know you anymore?
Yeah, no, literally, like you walk through Salisbury and see like 2 people you know, whereas like years ago, you see loads of people you know.
Yeah. But how long have you been going now?
3 years.
3 years. Okay, so you started just after COVID.
Yeah,
well, a bit after.
Yeah, 2 years after.
Yeah. And where did you work before that?
Do we have to name drop companies or not?
Well,
not if they're shit. No.
No, they're not. They are a really good company.
Okay.
But
obviously don't.
But now they're a competitor, aren't they? So I'm not going to name drop.
Oh yeah,
So one of them for 9 years and another one for 6 years before that.
Okay, so you were always working for somebody.
Yeah.
And then
Carglass?
No.
I don't get that.
No, but as you've name dropped them, ironically, they sponsor loads of football tournaments.
Nice.
I sponsor my youngest daughter's team.
Okay.
And we've won they've won 2 tournaments.
On both my money though.
So on both of them, the girls are there with their ETN Glass and Gutters all over the front of their shirt with a Carglass behind, which is quite funny.
I like that. It's a bit of a layered advertising.
Yeah, I'm surprised they'd let you do that.
I tried to get sponsorship at Salisbury and South Wales 2 years ago.
Okay.
Got a golf club.
Yeah.
And Middleton and Major already have a sponsor up there.
Oh, okay.
And they have a policy where you only have
one of each.
Yeah. Guy Andy at the time, he was like, I'm gonna have to give him a call. They said no.
All right.
And I was trying to give the club $2,000 a year for a corporate membership, and they said no. So I've just made it my mission ever since to just hunt down all of the houses they can't sell. Because I just think, what pettiness that is.
What if they watch this?
Bring it on. Do you know what I mean? I don't try, but I just think that's petty, isn't it? Like that's, there's enough. I'm sure you would say this, there's enough business to despite what I say, I'm friendly with quite a few estate agents. Like, you because you kind of respect what each other's doing, right? I don't promote them or chat about, but I respect what they do, and I would speak mildly positively if I was asked, if you weren't an estate agent, I'd give some names.
Yeah,
it is. But if you were one of the people that wanted to sponsor, I know you don't care because whatever, but would you pay as much as that if you knew a competitor was also on the back of a shirt, or in your case at the golf club?
Well, yeah, no, I suppose no, it's a fair question. Who was there first? They were.
No, so they sponsored the tournament.
Oh, they sponsored the
Yeah.
tournament.
So on the
okay.
photos in the background, there's like this huge Cara Glass sign, and then with like a load of girls with their football shirts with their winners' trophy with ETN on. So
I just feel like just trying to hold my hands. All the photos, just blur it all out. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, no, that's.
But so I imagine what I was saying before is that everybody from like school and things like that, they tend to come to you after you go self-employed. Do you still find that, or did you ever find that?
Yeah, a few people have. Yeah, I would say a few people have, but then I don't know. There's a lot of glazing companies around, to be fair. So
we've said this to so many people, haven't we? That the way that people choose business now, because you can get anything at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
If I need a new boiler fitted, I can go and get about 20 different people.
Yeah.
If I need glaze, like it's so easy. So how do you separate all of those companies? Well, it's just trust, isn't it? And it's like, if I know the person,
yeah,
I don't know the difference between your fitting and theirs, do I?
No.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. You probably do with some of them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it does a better job, but do you know what I mean? So it's like I'm not going to appreciate it. Like you can go, oh, I know I'm going to do a better job, but we're probably not going to appreciate it because we don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Do you know what? I was having this conversation with a customer's dad today, funnily enough, and he said he basically encouraged his daughter to use me rather than another company, just because I'm a lot smaller. It was me that went to do the quote. It was me that's doing the job.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he said, it's the small companies because they're the ones that have to get it right. They can't, someone can't turn up for another company, do it wrong, go missing, they send someone else. He was like, you have to do it right. And I was like, exactly. So,
like one bad job.
I guess you get a bit more security doing that, don't you?
Well, no, one bad job kills you.
Yeah.
Whereas one bad job for the other one, the other one that I think you might be talking about, we won't say. If they do it, it's almost like it gets swallowed up in the other 30 jobs they did that week.
Yeah.
And it's like 29 people say good stuff. Everyone forgets
exactly.
one. Whereas you do 2 jobs a week or 3, your percentage of needing to get it right is obviously
exactly. So, I just wish more people would kind of take that on board when they're looking around, which some people do.
I think a lot of it, I don't know what you think. I think a lot of it's to do with just security. Like there's an agent in Salisbury who says they sell more houses than anybody else. They do. But is that necessarily a good thing when it comes to service? Is that necessarily I think do a lot of people use them because there's a security element of lots of other people are using them?
Well, that's why Trustpilot and all of that kind of stuff is a popular thing, because if you've got a company who's got 3 reviews in comparison to a company that's got 10,000 reviews,
you feel a lot
you'll
more.
tend to then go to the one with the 10,000 reviews.
But are you making that choice because you think it's so if I'm looking at Tom and 3 others, am I making the choice because I think that, I'm looking at going, he says he can do a really good job and it does look good, but actually there's a safe choice here that might not be better, but they're safe.
Yeah.
So do you think we make a lot of choices? Because I
that's a good point.
You and I are going into people's living rooms and looking and going, well, I know I'm going to do a better job.
Yeah.
But how do I convince them to not just take the safe choice and go for the client who's we do more business than anybody else? And do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what would you say in that case then? What sort of sets you apart from all of your competitors and stuff? What do you try and do?
I think partly that, like what you said, and probably leading up before I started the business, of just generally asking customers why they chose the company that I was working for. A lot of people said communication was quite bad.
Well, they just turn up on the day.
Well, no, or just sort of take a deposit, don't hear anything for a while, and then a phone call to say, only a couple of people said it. But just trying to communicate with people, that's what I just do. It might not be that professional, but I say, look, just WhatsApp me, just phone me whenever you want.
Yeah, we do the same.
I do the same as well.
Even last night, I had someone messaging me at 10:15 last night.
That's because they want to message you at 10:15.
Well,
whether you, that's the bit I think that people go. And look, it's a slippery slope in some cases. And if you grow the business to have 6 employees, and you probably won't be answering calls at 10:15. But I think that's the graft you've got to put in.
Yeah.
I've done the same for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
If you USP yourself on service and on communication and all that kind of stuff, you can't say that and then get the business over the other companies And then when they try and use the USP that you sold them, i.e., they're sat on the sofa at 8 o'clock and they just want to ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
That you don't reply until 10 o'clock the next day, because they'll go, well, we could have just gone with the others.
Yeah, something you mentioned at the beginning of yours as well is that you don't care about messaging. If it's a Sunday, if it's a Saturday or whatever, you don't care about messaging back.
Yeah,
it's that personal touch.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I get people messaging me at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I don't mind sending them a quick message back if I remember.
Well, I've secured business at 11 o'clock at night because I followed it up with an email at 10:30 or 10 o'clock, and the day I've been to someone's house, and then they'll because they're together, I'll say, really want to work with you, let me know if any questions. They'll reply saying, oh, thanks, Adam. Well, if we were to go with you, when could you do the photos? Well, let me know and I'll get it done this week. Okay, let's go ahead. And you almost think because you've got them both together, they can make a decision there. I'm the only one that's then talking to them when they're sat on the sofa together.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? And so I want them to contact me then.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, if I don't think it's important to me, or if it's, then I'll just leave it. But if it's important stuff like maybe winning business, and then which is obviously the lifeblood of how any business grows, I'm the same as you. Yeah, like you can't say something as your USP and then not.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing, just sort of keeping people up to date. So say for example you wanted to order, I don't know, front door. Send a contract over, happy with it, sign it, deposit invoice, pay that. I'll get stuff ordered, and then within a week I'll be like, look, it's expected around this date, when works.
Perfect. Yeah.
They've got a date, and then I might drop them a message maybe like 2-3 weeks before.
Yeah, that's good.
And then just check in again, leading up to it, and
especially people are busy, right? Like,
I
might think to myself, I forgot that you were, if you just rock up and I guess you'd say, even if 2 days before, well, I'm out all day, sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, and my missus isn't here, or, you know what I mean?
So I think, just sort of, being flexible, people, is communication and just being flexible, I think, are two main things.
Yeah. It's hard to separate yourself nowadays.
Oh yeah, definitely is, because there's so many of everything.
So much choice. I thought I did a speak in Birmingham a couple of weeks ago. I was part of a panel, and all we've got is like individualism, like authenticity, like only you are you.
Yeah.
Like nobody can come and replicate what you do because they're not you. So you've almost got to put yourself on the line and be like, if I'm going to make a success of this, I've got to just be authentic.
Yeah.
And if everyone thinks I'm an arsehole, then I'll find out. I'll find out now, because my business will fail.
So I think, like, with being authentic, sometimes I end up going, I work all day, go to someone's house at 5 o'clock when they finish work, and I'm like,
knackered.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm just covered in dirt, sweating like I'm in here because it's boiling hot. Do you know what I mean?
I'm desperately
and it's almost like, no, this is me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm clearly doing the job. I'm not a salesman.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sell you something. I'm telling you, this is how I would do it, how we would approach it. This is what we got to offer.
Yeah.
That's it, basically. And I'm not going to rock up with a shirt and tie and.
But you think you're not doing a corporate job in the heart of London, right? Like,
no.
Like if I think it's all respective, isn't it? I mean, even now, this is how I dress to go into a multi-million-pound home.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing in shirt and ties, but I think, like, glazing, especially with, like, double glazing salesmen have obviously got a bad name themselves. Yeah. So I just turn up. Pretty dirty most of the time.
That's a great,
because I've literally just been doing the job.
Yeah, that's a good USP. Is that all double glazing companies, their salespeople are just relentless.
Yeah, we had.
So if you're not like that, people will easily.
Yeah, no. To be fair, with a quote, I give them 28 days to accept it, or the quote's valid. And if I haven't heard anything within 2-3 weeks, I'll just drop an email and just be like, "Look, heads up, this is when the quote ends." Some people lie.
Yeah.
Make excuses for stuff. Some just ignore you.
In what sense? Oh, sorry.
No, so I sent a quote to someone just before Christmas. Didn't hear anything back for about 2-3 weeks. Emailed him, and he said, "Sorry, my husband's just caught COVID again. He's been really ill," which is a pretty good excuse.
Mm.
And then about 2 weeks later, I was driving through Harnham, and they got all new windows. And this is it, literally, in the space of, like, from me going there to measure, to give them a quote, it's of about 6 weeks. They've got all new windows, and I'm like,
how long?
Like,
if
your husband's got COVID, like, fair enough, hope he gets better. which I said, but like, don't lie. Just say, look, I've gone with someone else.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's like my rant the other day. That's why I found that so funny. Because also you can't hide that, can you?
No, you can't.
It's like I'm scrolling.
Did you message him after?
No, I didn't
off.
bother. I was just like, oh,
Why? Like
Yeah.
I'm obviously going to be driving around.
Yeah,
like-
exactly. You know, if
that seems
if
stupid.
people
doesn't
come
it?
back and say, look, we're going with someone else, then fair enough. Sometimes ask why.
Yeah.
Just had a quote declined. They're going with someone else who was cheaper.
And you're like, fair enough.
But yeah, but then he said in the email, when you come round, you went into more detail about everything than they did, but they were cheaper. And our
probably
friends-
because they didn't go into detail.
Yeah, and he said our friends had recommended, again, recommendation, our friends had recommended you. So it's like, you know, all right, fair enough. You've been honest with me. Like, you can't argue with that. can
Yeah,
you?
I think
Like you're an idiot,
90% of that,
but you were
Well,
honest.
90%
I can say
of
that,
that is you could have all the best USPs in the world, but a lot of it does just come down, if it's cheaper, people are always looking for a bargain, aren't they? So
Well,
they'll,
yeah.
like,
What?
they'll just go for the cheaper option.
So
rather
again,
than-
like this is a huge thing in our industry because you know, oh yeah, so and so went round and they were £600 cheaper. Yeah, but how about if I put some data in that I do a better job, I'll put more money in your pocket than they will when I sell the place.
Yeah.
You know, like it's probably harder. It's probably I guess harder for you to because I have data that shows that on average I achieve more than other people.
Okay.
So there's a okay, yeah, you might be paying me an extra £600, but I'm going to get you an extra £4,000.
Yeah.
I guess it's a bit tricky for you to be like, because ultimately, if they think the window's shoved in properly or the gutters have been, you know, so for you to show your value is a lot harder, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's got to come more in the kind of communication, prep, service,
Yeah.
sourcing.
And yeah, just being, like I said, just going into detail and just keeping people updated with what's going on and how you're going to do things and any problems you might encounter.
And I guess probably aftercare as well, right? Like if I was to have certain things done, like a new front door,
Yeah.
and I had an issue, I'd want to know that.
I'd be around in the shop.
yeah.
Whereas we've all been in that situation
Yeah.
where they've got the money, you've paid, and then you know.
Yeah.
My dad's had a couple of situations recently where he's had that. So he's had a new kitchen done.
Right,
And it looks
okay.
really good.
Yeah.
And they are, but he's been a bit of a pain trying to get them back round to do it, and you know a few doors weren't hung properly, and
Right, yeah.
and he just said that like it's proven a bit annoying. He's in Spain, and they sort of took advantage of that, and
Right, yeah.
they were like, yeah, we'll just call us when you did, no answer. So he's getting a bit hacked off.
Yeah.
And I think everything out, you know, we all make mistakes. I'd want to know that, you know, and I would legitimately go with somebody if I went, you know, I'm sure you'll do a great job, but if not, can I? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, no,
yeah.
within 2 or 3 days I'll get there.
Nice.
Try and sort it.
Yeah.
Just because it's not really
yeah.
good look otherwise, is it?
I
It's
also,
a communication of that bit as well, isn't it? It's to say, oh, right, yeah, I'll be there in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Instead of just ignoring your calls and that kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also probably without prompt as well, because it's, if it goes wrong, Tom, or if we like, I always say if you prompt that, if you say like, oh, and by the way, you know, I'd find that really appealing.
Yeah.
To know that, you know, you've shown me why you're the best and why you think you know.
Yeah,
But
if anything goes wrong.
we all know we've got that security blanket
Yeah.
of like, I'll be straight back round to resolve anything that isn't quite to your liking.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be good. And also, I might need
Windows, doors.
No, I absolutely need soffits and my guttering done.
Yeah.
So I will be getting in touch.
Good.
Well, again, we had a company come round and he was like, we've got a minimum charge of £3,000 or something. And I was sat there going, I've literally got a 2-bed terrace house that's got like a strip of guttering and soffits out the front,
Right.
and then a small little L shape around the back. And I was sat there going, if you just have too much work to take on my little job, then fine. like not necessarily little, but I didn't tell him about the front door as well.
Right, okay.
You know, so there's a few other things which, because I'm going to be selling my own house.
Yeah.
I didn't tell him about that, but obviously didn't ask, and they do them because I, you know,
Right, okay, yeah.
which is
I'm
probably-
surprised you just didn't go like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, $2,500. I'll pay that.
You're-
Just for that little bit. of
No,
guttering,
it
it's
annoyed
fine.
me. I didn't like his attitude.
Right, okay, yeah.
But it was just that kind of like, yeah, we only do, and I'm thinking, yeah, I sometimes say that I have a minimum fee of £3,000 plus VAT. So if you've got £180,000 house, it's £3,000 plus VAT.
Yeah.
You know, because that for me running my business, that's you know, I have a minimum price that I won't go below, because that's just how I need to run the business. But I think you just displayed it in a really arrogant manner. Like no, not arrogant, but it was like entitled. It was almost like, yeah, you know, your job's not big enough, so we're
You
going
probably
to.
Right,
knew who
okay.
you were.
No, I don't.
Oh, that's Adam Buddy's got loads of
No, I
money.
don't think he did because I asked him where he came from, and he was like Shaftesbury or something.
Oh, right.
So he works for the Salisbury company, but
okay.
you know, isn't a Salisbury guy by
Right,
nature. But yeah, so no, I do need I don't need a front door, but I do want a new front door because it's the first thing you see when you're walking up to a house. isn't it?
yeah.
So yeah, no.
So going back to 3 years ago, you started the business.
Yes.
And so, how long were you planning to start your own business? Did it happen quite quick, or was it like a long-term plan? Did you
It's something I wanted to do for a long time, and it was just being in the right position. I know you sort of say, wait, when's the right time, but sometimes never is.
What's
the
your
right...
perception on that? Because that's you just nailed it. That what is the right time? What's your perception on when you make that leap to go? I know I can do it. Job.
I think you just need to be in a position where you can afford to sort of be up against it for about 3 months. If you can just ride out those first 3 months.
That was the same as mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had a safety net that was there to cover me for 3 months,
Yeah.
then I'll just go for it.
Which is end of July 22.
I didn't.
And then and to be fair, end of July 22, and then I think I
What?
thought you were going to be.
No. I was going to say keep because the camera will be on you, so you can keep talking. I just need some water.
Where is it?
Where did you put my water? You said where's the
There's a smart water behind you, is that it?
No.
Where did you put down there? Isn't it down by you?
No. Well, this is just.
BRB.
Oh, here it is. Just down the front.
Never mind. I'm going to keep that in. Just
Well, it's bloody hot.
how annoying you are.
Yeah, can we all?
Sorry, Tom. Carry on.
Can we all wipe
No.
brows? Yeah, if you feel like you've got to do some admin for a second. Yeah, go on, sorry.
So end of July 22 started it, and it must have been end of September when I first got a couple of sort of half decent jobs to come in, and then it was managed to get in with the council as well.
Wow.
As
Good.
well, so I proper landed on my feet to start.
Yeah.
But
Was that always a plan, or did that just kind of happen?
just by chance, literally emailed them, and they happened to be short staffed at the time, and they said to come in, and I was like, no, I've literally been going 2 months. I'm not gonna, fold a company after 2 months and come and work for you. So they gave me a load of work, and it just sort of snowballed from there, really.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
just two biggest jobs through people I know, one in Dartford and one in Bournemouth.
And that was like developer people do like building houses or
one was at a doctor's
renovating?
surgery, big doctors, and another one was for Ebbsfleet International, actually.
Oh, cool.
Train station.
Yeah.
There was an M&S, and they were turning it into their own thing. So did a bit of shop fitting, which I've never done before.
Oh, that's cool.
So just got
Tell
through.
them that.
Yeah, and they were like, "Don't care, just
Yeah.
come in and do stuff."
Are you
So I
going
was
to turn
like,
up and will it fall out? Will it fall down? No.
Yeah,
Okay. Come on.
basically.
Yeah,
So
solid.
there was the original question. It was
How did you get when you set up 2022?
yeah.
Like was it as you said you got a couple of clients initially, then you got the council, and then it just kind of
Yeah, so
So it was like
it was
it's
the
a
right time. It was the right
long-term or-
time.
yeah,
How we
long-term or
planned on it.
short-
Yeah, no.
short-term.
So basically, I started a little side hustle of selling goalkeeper gloves.
yeah.
Had them.
I didn't anticipate you saying that.
No.
I thought you meant of doing windows or something.
No. So just basically designed them, had them made in Pakistan, shipped over.
Wow. Still going now?
No. Which just sort of gave me like a little bit of money to put behind me. Bought a transit, which was,
So you bought a transit off of selling goalkeeper gloves.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Can we fire this back up?
No, by the way, it was about $4,000. It was about 15 years old.
Can we do a joint venture?
Still, that's cool.
It broke down about 5 times in the first year. It had so much wrong with it. It was shocking. But just
Did the job enough to get you out there?
basically, yeah. As soon as I bought that, then it was like, right, let's just. It was something I've been planning, but not until I had the money to. Because I think for me, just getting the van was the main thing.
Yeah. So you got the van, and then when you made that leap of quitting your job, Or get
So yeah, I had all my tools, had the van there ready to go. So I was literally ready to work.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And were you bricking it, or was it just like I'm ready to go?
So do you know, I left my job on the Thursday, started the business 8 o'clock next morning on the Friday.
Nice.
Then on the following Monday, I walked around Salisbury flyer dropping.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, something just come over me, and it was just like I wasn't like walking around crying, but it was like just so like overwhelming. Just like felt like this weight was off my shoulders.
Yeah.
Of not going to work for someone, but at the same time,
Terrifying.
yeah,
Terrifying,
thinking,
Yeah.
I
that feeling is just what life is about, though.
Yeah.
Like, without deepening it, right? Like that, I always think that, like, if you can put yourself in as many positions as that, those are the things you remember. Well, I don't know if this is the case. I'll find out. So I'll try and let you know. But on your deathbed, that's the things you remember, right?
Yeah.
Like those moments where you go, yeah, do you know what? That was terrifying. But like the rewards of it, like now, obviously, we've all done what we've done, and we wouldn't turn back.
Yeah.
I assume that's probably a question coming later. But like, I think that's what you've got to embrace. And I think so many people are scared of that. And you're thinking, well, hang on, what's the worst that can happen? That you tried, you won't ever look back with any regret, right?
No.
But yeah, like you got to embrace that feeling of like, oh no.
Yeah.
But it's an excited, oh no. And like, I've always thought about bringing people into a business. Like you think, oh, should I make it easy for them? Should I give them a couple of listings? You can give them a couple of jobs to go do.
Yeah.
No, you go find your own.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're never going to feel that thing I felt, which was like, and you felt what you just said, which is like, oh God, like I could do really well here, but I'm going to have to really
that's
grind
exactly
for
what it
it,
was.
you know?
Yeah, and that first week I was literally walking around different parts of Salisbury fly dropping.
Full out the comfort zone. Like,
Yeah.
you're just,
Yeah. Didn't really go very well, to be fair. No, literally, like a couple of handle and hinge replacements, like tiny stuff.
But how do you know that a couple of people didn't see those flyers, make a mental note, and then when they did come to do the job 6 months later?
Funnily enough, I did another fly drop the other week and had 2 leads
Did you?
from it. Yeah.
They might have recognised your name.
No, literally, just had like half an hour
free.
free, and I was like, oh, do you know what? Just going to go for a walk for half an hour near where I live.
Yeah.
Drop some flies through some doors.
Because it's timing, isn't
leads.
it?
Yeah.
It's timing.
Leaflet dropping is always a good one because it is, you just never know when that other person is looking for what you need.
Yeah.
So you could be dropping it through a door of somebody who's literally just been thinking about phoning up to.
Yeah. And do you know what? I always keep cards in my wallet as well. I don't know if that's a bit sad.
No, definitely not.
No. So whenever I'm walking, even walking here, I was literally looking at people's windows, fascias, soffits, thinking, oh, should I drop a card for this or not? Which is, I don't know, it's a bit sad, isn't it? When you're...
The wallet bit wasn't, but that bit, yeah.
Wait, do you know what I mean? I wasn't quite like that.
Look at those windows.
No.
He's out with his mates having some beers, and he's like, lads, can we just walk that way? Just so I can see if there's anybody that needs to... Yeah, that's funny.
That's fair enough. It's because it's grind, isn't it? You're just grinding to get business.
And also, it's quite a visual. Like you can how blunt you'd want to be about it, but like if you were actually that desperate, you could go and literally knock on the door and be like, "Your soffits are dead.
Yeah.
I can come and do them."
But but I'm not going to go put a card through someone that's clearly just had work done. It's what, 25 quid for 1,000 flyers.
Yeah, there you go. Return on investment is like one job.
Yeah, exactly.
Paid back times by
it's just go for a walk, do it, and you don't need to worry about advertising. Really,
even paying for leaflet droppers so you don't have to go and do it is super cheap. Like it's surprisingly cheap as well.
Yes, but you slave labour your daughter.
Look, right.
If you were to pay somebody properly above national minimum wage,
I paid her loads.
You bought her a Nando's.
I gave her money as well. You used to owe her a present.
But no, you're right. I mean, well, I guess it's a direct thing for you. Like I haven't done it for a while, but it is a direct way to people's doors, isn't it? You know? Like you can, again, harder for me to tell when someone's thinking of selling because that's not fairly, unless it's a developer or unless it's something that's fairly obvious. But yeah, I guess you can.
I don't know, because if you've got somebody, if you look at houses on Rightmove that are being sold by everybody else,
no.
Hold on, and then you go to all of them and then put a leaflet thing, struggling to sell your house.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely, that's a real thing.
Yeah,
but there is a finite number of, and also like I don't do that anymore because I have enough organic stuff coming in. But most estate agents will do that at the start because ultimately I can't walk down a street and go, you've got bad soffits, your guttering, your door's knackered.
Yeah.
Like if I walk down the street and there's no board, I've got no idea who You know, so yes, you're right. You do that at the start, but you don't really do it ongoing much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whereas, as I said, I guess you can be a lot more spontaneous.
I mean, don't do it, all the time. Just now and again.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's underrated.
Do you have quiet periods?
Yes.
The winter.
January's always a bit quiet. Well, the first 2 weeks of January are, and then it's like a mad rush. Everyone wants stuff doing. Then April, May kind of goes a little bit quiet, and then it picks back up again. People want stuff doing for the summer, and then August sometimes is a little bit, and then it's like that summer to Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it's quiet in January because that's when people are all finding out they've got leaks and the front door doesn't shut properly?
But no, to be fair, although this year January is actually quite good. I've done so much gutter repairs, replacements this year. Start of the year, pretty much everything I was doing was which was good. I just want to say that I don't actually just target if anyone is watching this.
Old ladies walking along the road.
No, don't target old ladies.
Yeah.
No, I don't. If you get a fly, it's not because your house is bad. It's just sort of thing.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah, you're just.
You could potentially need some in the near future.
Yeah.
I just want to put that out there.
You just
basically,
don't be offended.
That's so funny. Yeah,
I probably just
if I represented that
ruined
the wrong way,
everything now. But.
I'll make a good short out of that. Don't worry.
If I don't listen to him. No. But
go on.
Yeah, no, I was going to say about that. Like that, sometimes people need to give that little shove, don't they?
Yeah.
Like if to be honest, if anyone had popped anything related to what you do through my door the last 6 weeks, I would have phoned. So the fact you're
targeting in the wrong places, Tom.
No. Well, no, but it's fact because
clearly,
because I know I need to get mine done. So, but ultimately, I get home at 6-7 o'clock. I've got work to do. I do have time, but it's not been a priority.
Yeah.
So if someone had dropped a convenient thing through my door and gone, your gutters are knackered, your soffits, I would have been like, well, I can't argue because
no.
It's
not. I wouldn't say knackered. I would say, like I said, mainly doing in the near future.
In pieces.
Yeah, do it in the near future because it looks okay. But, it looks shit.
What's your favourite?
Call Tom.
What's your favourite thing to do? What's your if you had to pick an ideal working week? What would it look like? Just lob a door in, off you go. Lob a door in, off you go. What's the preferred?
Is that how you do it?
Lob it in. Yeah. Lob it in. Bit of sealant.
Do you know what? It varies really. It all depends on the job because you get some jobs that are just really nice, like everything goes smoothly.
Yeah,
clients are lovely.
Yeah, and then others, it's hard work.
Yeah. Do you survey your own jobs? So how many have you got on a team? Is it just you?
No, so I've got one person that works for me now.
Yeah, that's good.
And it just you sub. There are one or two sometimes subcontractors if it's quite busy, like it was. Yeah, so probably from October, November, December last year. Yeah, basically I had a subcontractor working near enough every day with me, either with me or for me.
That'll definitely be people like me who realised the winter before that their gutter was knackered and that the wardrobe was starting to show a bit of damp. And when it started to rain again.
Yeah, so
could you because I've left this for 6 months.
Small.
Yeah, well, still that's good though. You've grown to an extra person now. In 3 years, that's a good amount of time to do it.
But obviously it depends. Each job's different.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say there was a favourite.
Yeah. That's it. Well, and I guess everyone gets. I don't care how much you love your job. If you do the same thing all the time, you get bored. That's why I love doing valuations. Then I like doing a viewing.
Yeah.
Then I like showing someone the house when they're just about to move in. Then handing over keys. That like if you're doing just fitting doors all day. All week, every week.
Yeah,
it's going to get a bit dull, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it's the same for mine. Varies as well because sometimes I'll edit 10 videos in a week, and then I'm just like really long form videos as well. And by the end of it, I'm just banging my head against the wall because you're just listening to constant music and voices, and it's just like, shut up.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's what kills so many people with working in a 9 to 5. Or no, I guess when I say that, I mean like. You go into work, you're told what to do. You've normally got a certain role within a company, and you've got to do it this way because that's the only way we can manage you all. I think, how have you found that to be one of the biggest transitions? Like that you love the freedom you've got. Obviously, it comes with a bit more responsibility to get it right. But do you find like they used to say, go there, you're doing this job, bosh.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, actually, I can
Yeah, no. So it's if you finish at say 2:00, or I finish at 2:00, I can just go home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you work for a company, you can finish at 2:00, and then you're expected to then
Find you something else.
they'll find you something else to do till 5:00.
Do you still feel a bit bad about it, but finishing early? Because I do. I'm still early, so I only started in November on my own. And now if it's like 1:00, I'm like,
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to when I first started on my own. Yeah, I was just.
Feel guilty.
Yeah, I don't know if it's guilt. I think it was just kind of what I was used to, and then I was like, actually, I don't need to do this.
yeah.
Like if I
yeah.
finished, I finished.
Yeah, I suppose that's yeah.
And also, I would say is but you might still be in this, but I wish I'd appreciate. I posted something the other day. I wish I'd appreciated that stage more, because that's actually the only stage probably for the rest of your life where because in 5 years' time you'll look back and go, oh, I wish I'd appreciated those 1 p.m. finishes a bit more. Okay, when you're doing 9:00, 8:00, 7:00.
Yeah.
I'd play golf, so I'd do all my work at 8 till 12. Couple of appointments because I had 6 properties on the market, and then I'd have 2 till onwards 3, and I'd just be like, someone, do you want to go play golf?
Yeah.
You said earlier that you work harder than everybody.
Right now I do. But now I have
Slacking off playing golf.
85 properties available. 85 properties under our wing, 30 available. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
then you're
sure.
like, there's always someone to speak to. After this, I'm going home. I'll do another 2 hours of work easily this evening. I miss the days, and this is where you should appreciate this. And Tom's probably passed it already, but like that's such a cool part of the business where you're growing something.
Yeah.
But you just don't. But you don't realize it at the time because you're still a bit terrified that it's all going to pop and you're going to have to go back to the boss
definitely.
and be like.
I am still terrified of that bit. Yeah.
No, you should be. But like,
Oh, cool. Brilliant.
but
I'm glad I'm doing the right thing.
but that is again, it's an extension of the feeling you had on that Friday morning. Or that Monday morning when you were like, oh no. But it like, you still should have that because that keeps you driving forward.
Yeah.
But you, as you said correctly, try and enjoy those days where you're growing your business and it's going in the right direction. And I'd say that to anybody out there. Like that first 2 years, if you know you're going in the right direction and you're putting in the yard, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So like, don't enjoy that period of time.
You're
right?
trying to create a viral clip, aren't you?
No,
You liar.
I'm trying to. We try.
I can tell because you're like, oh, actually.
No, I wanted to do one of those. Like, I wanted to do one of those really. We sat the other day, didn't we, for like half an hour?
Trying to create
and
one clip.
You know where you can like stick it on Instagram and it gets like 180,000 views.
Yeah.
Put some deep music behind it, black and white. I don't mean that.
You've done that about 3 times in this podcast, and I've noticed every single one of them.
I genuinely do believe that though. Like I think that's the mistake so many people make is they either go too hard at the start and burn out and don't enjoy the process, or they don't appreciate what they're doing enough at the start.
I think.
Yeah,
no, I think burning out as well. Like last, I'd say July. Yeah, I just ran myself into the ground.
and that was about 2 years in.
Yeah, and then August last year, I sort of just chilled out a little bit. It was sort of went a little bit quiet after I smashed all this work, and then it got to a point. It was like, right, yeah, I'm good. Like I need to.
You said you turned down any jobs, or was it just like a case?
I didn't really turn down stuff. I think everyone's probably guilty of it, of maybe just
pushing, like just being too intense with it.
or just being a bit. Yeah, I wouldn't say I turned them down. I was still giving quotes, but maybe not quite throwing myself into it as much as I.
Yeah, you got to that
as
point.
as I was just like, it was just such hard work.
But then were you feeling a bit guilty? Because I've been there.
Yeah,
like,
and I was, and then I was like, we went on holiday, and I was still doing a few quotes, and I was feeling really like guilty for not really throwing myself. I still communicating with people and sending quotes, and I said I would, but I don't know. It just
not following up quite as quickly. Not
Yeah,
didn't have as much passion behind it.
Yeah, and then it was like, well, actually, I need to earn some money this month, so and then you kind of just snap back out of it and remember why you started it.
I'll be honest,
which
as well.
I think is, for me, remembering why I started it is the thing that I forget the most.
And
I think
that's so true, because I'm in that stage right now where I'll openly admit I've done probably 40 valuations in the last 6 weeks, I've not followed up one of them.
Right.
You know, because I'm saying if you're really keen to use us, like, and then come to us. But I felt like I was gonna have a stroke about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, and so I said, like, if I, you know, if people really want to work with us, we can keep growing, we can keep work, but I'm not gonna push. I'm not gonna try and convince you that I'm the right person. If you feel it, come to us. Great, let's push on. But I think you've got to manage that as you go on, because that will just rear its head. And again, next year, when you get 5 jobs in 2 weeks, and you go, and it's like, do I go and just quote a little bit more? Actually, because I'm going to value myself. Now I'm getting demand, I can actually value my services. I bet you there's people running businesses 10 years down the line that still charge what they did on day one.
Yeah, probably.
Like, to me, that's not, you know, very sensible. Because as soon as you've proven your worth and you've stuck the grind and then you've got more social proof to raise your fees, you know, or charge a little bit more because you know what you can do. And you've got loads of people saying he's great.
Yeah.
You know?
How long do you have to wait for that bit?
What?
Can I put my prices up yet?
Do you know what? I actually tried to do that last year at one point, and on some quite big jobs. And I thought, right, I wasn't trying to rip people off. I thought, right, let's just try and it didn't work.
No.
What in terms of they just turned around and went?
They were like, no, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
So
but then what do you do? Like, what do you do in that situation? Do you go, okay, I'm gonna lose some jobs? Because again, I've lost a couple that I've seen go on because I quoted the higher fees we charge now. It's not extortionate. I can justify it.
Yeah.
But like I've had to. You've got to keep. I feel like you've got to keep your composure and go. If this is my new business model and I feel like I can make it work, because all of a sudden you can do 4 jobs for the same price. Same price as 6. You know.
I had it back in February, a job, and I was £700 more expensive than the other person they had a quote from. They went with me anyway. They said, "Why are you more expensive?" And I said, "Well, look, it's me. I have a labourer that works with me. It's going to take us maybe an extra day and a half than it would for another company with their 2 skilled people." I was like, "But I'm not
going to do it properly.
You know, this is me. I'm coming to do it. I'm telling you what I'm doing."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense." Did it, and I'm doing some more work for him in August.
Yeah,
so,
that's good. Yeah, that's the main thing. And as soon as you get a customer and you do a good job, they'll always come back then, won't they? They won't risk going with somebody cheaper, especially.
Absolutely.
After
yeah.
that.
I mean, to be fair, the other company was a good company, but you know, they sent a salesman round who said, "Oh, I'll send 2 guys to do it at this price." Whereas I've been like, "No, it's just me, labourer. He's just basically tidying up, holding stuff, effectively, and I'm doing it. We're more because it's going to take us a day longer."
Yeah.
And it's not even about you earning more money. It's necessarily and you will in the long term if you raise your fees and then it catches up. Everybody who raises their fees suddenly above the industry average will have that moment where they lose business, because you can't. If everyone knows that if I have 3 quotes to fit myself a front door and some soffits, like, again, I'm going to use somebody who's been referred to me, absolutely. But if it hasn't, and the general public are just calling 3 people out in the same vein as you, they need to, like, I can see how, because I deal with it and you will as well. You sort of feel as though they need to almost have 6 to 8 months worth of proof of you doing higher value jobs,
right?
Charging more, doing a really good job before they could feasibly go, "Oh yeah, well, everyone says he's worth more." So you are going to lose business at the start, because you can't turn around and be like, "Hey, I did this, I charged more, but look how well I did and look how happy they are."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like anybody who raise your fees, you are going to lose business.
Yeah, and I did. I lost a couple of really good jobs that even if I had priced normally, or what I was charging, I probably would have won them.
So after you did raise your prices, and then a couple of people did start saying no, did you then think, actually, I'll go back for now?
Yeah.
Back to normal price. I think I'd have done the same thing. But what you're saying is that if you push through it and then come out the other end, then, you know, if you know you're actually worth what you were charging at that point, then
which I've got to now, and I'm whereas when I changed the prices, I didn't. They decided to go with other people for maybe 5 or 6 out of the first 10 I did.
Yeah,
I would say at that same fee now, I've probably won. They've decided to go with me probably 14 out of the last 20 at that higher fee. But it gave me a chance to reset a little bit, because I didn't have such an onrush of listings for that 2 or 3 weeks.
So to be fair, now I've kind of gone somewhere in the middle.
Well, a good blend.
And yeah, some jobs, like the one I said about earlier, didn't get it, but others I am getting. So I've kind of just gone
you can't win them all.
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what the other question about the sort of challenges and stuff of business, what would you say throughout the 3 years, I guess, has been like the biggest challenge that you've come across so far? Because
I mean, the first one was the transit.
yeah, you got that one, yeah.
Oh,
Can I just say, Salisbury should not be surprised if they see the reincarnation of this goalkeeper glove thing, because I love the sound of that.
Yeah, by the end of this, after this podcast, you're definitely going to try and get in.
Well, I need that contact. That's sick.
Yeah, so the first transit, that caused some problems. That was a nightmare. And then it's sort of been all right, but I think like everything, it's just keeping cash flow steady, just making sure that you're not kind of going below where you need to be in the quiet times. HMRC.
Yeah,
I'm not looking forward to that bit.
No, they're doing quite well out of me at the moment.
just so annoying.
There's I would say it's just keeping on top. Maybe get yourself a good accountant.
Yeah, so you've got a good accountant, I guess. Or do it yourself?
So I don't pay them enough to kind of keep on top of too much, so I still do some stuff.
Right, okay.
Which then kind of backfired on me a little bit. So now there is a bookkeeper that I use to kind of keep everything in order, ready to then basically take to my accountants. So they still do some stuff, the accountants, but I just don't pay them enough to keep on top of everything.
So is the bookkeeper like a Salisbury local as well?
Yeah.
You can give him a shout out if you like.
No.
No, definitely not.
No.
This is Tom's time, all right? Whoever you are, forget
it's
it.
actually my mother-in-law, to be fair. So she's probably watching this. Well, she will watch it. Yeah.
Or Tom's mother-in-law, you hero.
No. To be fair, no, she saved me. Yeah, she has saved me a lot.
Oh, that initial bit, her heart is going to drop. When you said, do you want to give him a shout out? Nope.
No, that's harsh. Right? No, she's right.
But by default, we sort of know who that is now. Dad's going to put a photo of her face up on the screen.
I feel a bit bad now. I feel like I've gone like really red and started sweating even more now. I'm going to get told off by my mother-in-law.
Well, no. But that is that loads of people come in and say, I was chatting to Charlie Smith at Work Renovation. Does that?
Shout out to
good, that's okay. If he wasn't so busy, he's going to come on it soon. But again, great local business. What is it? His mum works there. His nan works there. You know what I mean. So like ultimately,
same with Luke. Luke's got his
he's in business with his mum
got
and
family.
dad.
And
so again, I just think you're actually an idiot if you don't utilise the services of the people closest to you, because they often don't charge, or they charge less, and they've got your best interest at heart. So shout out Mrs. Robinson, mother-in-law. No names mentioned.
You cannot say Miss Robinson, because that would be my mum. And Paul, because Paul, Dan's brother, he'll love that. If my mum gets a mention.
So to give some
which she now has, so Paul, there we go, that's for you.
Mrs. Robinson.
To give some context to that, so you're friends with my brother, Paul.
Paul's just not going to be randomly out.
Paul's making it to like every episode at the moment. So,
that's funny.
And obviously he was trying to push you to come on here, because I don't think this is your normal kind of thing to do, is it? So
no, definitely not.
No. So you were sweating outside, and now you're like double sweating.
Yeah.
That's going to be the first clip of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what you just said there. Yeah. Tom was sweating before he even came in. But I think there's a few people that really want to come on this, but they're just like, because it's a weird thing, and you sort of know that you say something, you can't really take it back.
No, exactly, yeah.
Because this whole thing goes on, so it's tough.
But I think as we said, it's authenticity, right? Like you're not suddenly going to turn into me, vice versa. Everyone's different. Molly Cook downstairs. I mean, you know, do you remember she came in on a podcast like 4 or 5 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like it's just obviously been out for a couple of Thursday afternoon sherries. You know,
No, she was downstairs in her office. She had a couple before she went.
but it's just like that's, you know, like Molly's great. She's got like such a loyal set of clients and friends and stuff. But she's a unique person. You know, we're all unique, aren't we? Right? Like we've all got.
Yeah, we all wear the similar stuff.
And so yeah.
But other than that,
it's 37 degrees in here. We're wearing black though, which is mental. But no, I think we love about this that we're seeing people that have come on, and we've got a couple of people coming on soon who have done a load of stuff like this before, and they'll feel they'll feel more comfortable. But then does it feel a bit overproduced? And it's almost like we quite like it when we can see people sweating metaphorically,
but also physically as well.
Yeah. But also like you know, this is you. We want people to call you for their business needs.
Yeah.
But actually, you turn up and it's like, yeah, that's the guy we saw on the podcast because that's what they'll be expecting, you know.
So there you go.
Hopefully I won't be sweating when I turn up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one thing, he sweats a lot, so just watch out for that. Put
That's
some
a bit
sheets down or something.
Send a photo in of yourself not sweating. And you'll put it up.
So yeah, the aim is obviously anybody who out there that then watches this, and businesses as well. I guess you do business windows and doors. It's the same thing, right? It's normal
B2B.
windows.
Yeah.
Is that they watch this and then they now know that there's a local supplier for that. So that instead of going to the big nut guns that are out there that aren't a local company, they can come.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of
someone
big
like you.
companies, but like I said, everyone sends a salesman round. I'm not a salesman. I just do the job. I tell them how it's going to work. This is the products I'm offering to install.
And if they've got any,
and that's kind of it, really.
Honesty, yeah.
And if they've got any questions on the spot, right? Like, you know, okay, so we had someone say last year that actually it's a bit technically difficult because we've got this angle and this. Like, you can sit there and go, no, that's fine. Oh, whereas I'm guessing if a salesman goes out, they don't have the technical fitting experience, or they don't have
some do that, you know, have done it a while ago.
Yeah, they'll have a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, but you know, some haven't done the job. They just know the product they're selling.
Which I think is I think is the sort of thing that will slowly die out.
Yeah,
because I think it's so easy. You don't need a salesman to flash you loads of brochures anymore. No. Like, you know, social media is where most people go. Google, you know, like put whatever information you want on there about your pricing and your lead times and your whatever. But then actually, like, if I've got someone come into my house, I want them to be able to say, this is what I'm going to do. And actually, I think too many businesses are too scared to tell people what to do. Like, I would say the conscious decision I made was I was sick and tired of going into people's houses knowing that
damn it.
Well, no,
we need a new camera.
We'll just use these.
Yeah.
That one keeps overheating and stopping.
Oh, okay.
So you're now going to get.
No wonder it's overheating.
But yeah. It's got 3 blades, combined about 350 kilograms. Where was I going? I made a conscious decision. I would start telling people what I thought was best for them, even if it was a slightly abrasive conversation. Yeah. Because I'm going to look in a brochure on it and go, hey, I quite like the look at that. I'm going to be like, hey, Tom, can you fit? I would want you to tell me if you thought that I was making not a mistake, but go, actually, no, I did a really good job. Like, you know, you got a couple of photos on your phone, and I'd be there going, okay, cool. Because I'm paying you. I want you to add value to what I'm doing.
Yeah, so, I mean,
you know what I mean?
I get it a lot sometimes where I'll go and look at a job and they'll be like, oh, another company said we need to replace the whole window. And then I'm like, well, it's nice. It's really just you need to change the hinges because the hinges are broke.
But trust.
Yeah.
And you know, you're good to see you through the next winter.
Yeah.
That don't always happen, but it's just like, why...
Try it, and if not, I'll come back and we'll go for the full hog.
Yeah,
you know?
basically.
Yeah, I think a good thing for you is obviously that it's not something that just gets replaced once, is it? So if something does break, people will come back to you, especially if you're honest like that. So that person with the hinges, if it lasts another year, when it does break, they'll call you up.
Yeah, well, you'd like to think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, I would say one of my biggest criticisms of businesses I see is they don't do that and they don't advise enough. It's like they're too scared of the competition getting the business that they won't go in there and say, this is what you're doing wrong, or this is what I think is best for you. Ultimately, you're working with clients, aren't you? I'm doing the same. I want to represent the house in the way that they like. But also, if I can get more money for them representing it in my way, I think it's up to me to show
Yeah,
them.
but if someone, like I said, that someone could go around and say, oh yeah, £500 for a new window, or I could go in and be like, yeah, look, it's going to be what, 60, 80, £100, repair it, see how it goes.
Yeah.
But also,
And then they're like, oh, well, this other company said we need a whole new window, and it's just like,
but also,
yeah, you're going to make money, but like at the end of the day, I'm not an arsehole. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think sometimes,
Just
I
don't be an
know
arsehole.
sometimes being nice don't get you anywhere, but like I said,
In business, I think it does.
I'm not here to rip people
I
off.
think in business,
Do you know what I mean?
you
I'm here to make a living, and
you'd probably
not-
disagree because you are an arsehole, aren't you?
No. I agree, and I think, yeah. I'm not ignoring that. I agree, but I also would want you to say to me, if someone had come in and gone, we can do this for £500. If you actually looked at my property and you thought, actually, do you know what? He's gone for white UPVC or whatever. But if you go for that navy, or you go for a darker, or you go for that'll actually suit your property better. Here's a couple of options I've done.
Yeah.
It's going to be £200 more expensive. I promise you, I sell a lot of houses, and I see the decision making around how people make decisions on houses. If you can show the value that they look at it and it's the better option in their mind, they'll pay it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I see it in viewings, and I see it in when I'm saying to people, I think you should do this before we sell. And so again, I think and again, I don't know enough about your industry to say whether, I don't know whether that makes any sense, but whatever the advice would be, if you think you're giving them the correct advice, great. But I think there's loads of people that be going and going, I'll sort of just tell them that because it's safe, and but actually no, if you think that I should go for sash windows and it's going to be 500, but that will look so banging.
Do you know what? I've literally just priced a job in London, and timber sash windows, and she wants to change PVC, which is fine. But she was like, "Oh no, just standard, the cheapest ones." And this house is like 1.2 million.
Yeah. What are you doing?
And she's like, "I just want the cheapest," and I'm like, Look, I priced it, but I'm not going to take photos of it because if I got it, like, I'm literally I'm ruining this house. But yeah, no,
The before and after wouldn't look right way round, would it?
yeah.
Do you want me to record a clip saying that would cost her thousands of pounds?
No,
because I promise you, any house that's got a bit of character, if that's what it looks like, and everybody will go in there and knock 25k off because they'll want to put the sash windows back in. So just clip that, send it to
But
him,
generally,
forward it on.
98% of houses, just like your normal white UPVC windows, do the job, brilliant. But I think there's some properties, that need it, and I've given a price, but I'm certainly not going to be sharing any photos of it because it'll probably be I'll get absolutely ripped for it.
Why did you like you say that on TikTok and everyone's be like, why did you do that, you idiot? And you're like, I told her not to.
So before we all melt, the next question is to choose a charity of your choice for us to donate £150 to.
Has it gone up?
What?
Has it gone up?
£150 is always how it's been.
I thought it was always 100. he sort of saw the app. Is it you sure?
Yeah, 150 quid. That's what you said at the beginning.
Oh, fair enough.
Anyway, £150.
I think I'll let you choose as long as you can choose, but as long as it's a men's mental health charity.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. Well, so I was actually at a business exhibition yesterday, and there was a lady there that was there for men's mental health, and she focused on it. She said it's a bit weird because I'm a woman, but she's like had loads of conversations and done that kind of thing. So I'll find out who that was because I've got a card in my office, and then I'll see what she.
Sorry.
See, I wonder why your face is so close to me. And I'll find out what she does, and if there's a local one that we can
definitely
send it to. But that's a great one. Yeah.
I was trying to get my phone to look it up.
Very good.
Was it a local one?
No, I don't know if she's. So she actually helped the men, so I'm not sure what that charity is. But if you have a little look while I ask the next question, which is, you've already given us a funny story.
Have I?
Yeah, that one.
What, where you start singing Mrs. Robinson?
Yeah.
And I had to say, please don't. Dan's brother will be loving this.
We've got plenty of funny stories from this.
Me and Mrs. Robinson.
So, what do you... you got to answer the question from the last guest.
I always forget that bit.
Damn it, I forgot one as well. Who was it?
It was
Hattie.
No. Oh, why are we being stupid? Who was the last person? Alan.
Singer? Alan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Alan.
Alan Riley at the Workout Lab.
Oh yeah.
Who we both signed up with straight afterwards, trying to get in shape out of the summer.
Whilst I do this, find out what the question is. We really need to note these down.
It's your job.
I've got all the jobs. You have any. Why don't you give us your question for the next guest? I told you about this yesterday, so I give you warning.
Yeah, no, you also said to me 2 or 3 of the best local businesses you asked for.
Yeah.
And that has been playing on my mind right, since last night.
Just give the same answer as Luke. Nando's.
No, because I was thinking like local Salisbury-based businesses.
Like you would.
And then he goes, yeah, I don't really know. There's quite a few, isn't there? We do like a Nando's.
So it's
not local.
It's like, like okay, double glazing companies. I could say, oh yeah, ETN Glass Gutters, but
yeah, I think
in fact no, that's a bad one to do. I could say, let's say an electrician, for example.
Yeah.
If I'd be like, oh yeah, I've used this electrician loads of times.
Perfect. Yeah.
Really good. But then what if 20 other electricians watch this and think, oh, I ain't going to use him because he uses him and he's giving him a shout out on a Salisbury business podcast.
I think you're overthinking
you are,
yeah, no,
you are
I'm
way
massively
overthinking
this.
People would not be offended.
Well, again, feel free to
all.
shout out 3 electricians and then you spread your wealth of it.
No. Well, I'll tell you what, no, we give Workwear Innovation a shout.
Nice,
for Workwear. We've already mentioned them.
Yeah, shout out Charlie and Tom, they do a great job.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think everyone always everyone's thought process seems to go for like coffee shops, restaurants, but again, like electricians, plumbers, carpenters,
Yeah, I mean, I've got a relative that owns a scaffold company, but also,
feel free to shout them out. Like, there's no.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to upset all the other scaffold companies.
Imagine someone going, God, he's shouting out his family member on the podcast. I mean, like, I actually want you to say it now. Otherwise, I'm going to listen.
It's Luke at LV Scaffolding.
Yeah, nice. Okay, I was going to say it must be. Yeah, no, that's cool. So yeah, Luke Clark.
Who else are we going to give a mention to?
Where's your favourite? Okay, let's go. Let's go for a restaurant or a coffee shop. Where would you go? Like,
not too much coffee. Dark Revolution.
Nice. Yeah, good idea. Because they've got
Dark Rev.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're opening a new place, aren't they?
Old Terran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're opening a new. They're
the Dust Hole, aren't they?
Yes.
Road.
Yeah. Good shout. Yeah.
That's exciting. I think that's great because that place used to be like the poker hub. Everybody would get there, play poker.
Right.
And then it kind of just disappeared, and then nobody ever went there, and then it shut down. And now, so for that to get taken over by Dark Rev, I think that's
a bit of an eyesore.
That'll be live
around that area, isn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be. But again, this is what we'd love to do. Is we want people to shout businesses out, and then we want them to come on. Like, again, there's we're getting 1,000 views on a lot of these. So there's like, if every person who viewed this, which they won't, but let's say half of the people walked in and went, oh, do you know what? I'll pop my head in. Well, that's 500 people that wander in there when it opens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, and I ranted last week about the absolute useless nature of some businesses that open, and there's nothing on social media. They don't phone the Journal. They don't ask us to come on here. Now, again, look, we don't have as much breadth as the Salisbury Journal and Salisbury Radio.
They don't come to me for marketing.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, if we don't all talk about each other's businesses, if we don't, this is the whole thing we decided to do this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's fun and we can laugh with people, but we want to be able to get, you to be able to support Luke, because why wouldn't you want to be able to support your family member? Like, most people know Workwear because they've got such a good name in here, but it's like, so.
I'm going to play this out loud because it's funny.
Okay.
Are you ready? I'm going to put it against the
Go on,
mic
Alan.
as well.
Shout out Alan Riley.
No, this is funny because of what you say.
Oh, brilliant.
Question. But don't tell her it's coming. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'll remember. I told you there's leaks. It's between 2. So, do you know what I was worried?
You had one job to get this ready before it's like
I wasn't a personal trainer. What else would I do? You already answered. You already answered, yeah. Plumber. I wouldn't have. I told you there's leaks everywhere. So ask that question. But don't tell her it's coming.
I got the question, but listen.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And I'll remember that because I will remember that. No, I will. I can guarantee.
Oh, because I didn't remember it.
I'll remember that. I'll remember
Well,
that.
that was like 3 weeks ago, though. Because we had a couple of weeks where we had some rearranging because I was away. And
So basically, the question is that if you didn't do Windows, what else would you do?
so you have to see how to liquidate your business tomorrow, and like, or no, a better question is if the finances weren't an issue, like what would your? Because I think it's
Except for retire.
Yeah. Like if someone said, "Here's a check, you've got to start a business with it," like, but it was a passion project, what would it be?
God, he loves.
Do you know what? The only thing I was probably actually only really good at school was cooking.
Nice.
Food tech. I love cooking.
Love that.
Right. Yeah. No, I love it. Just literally just put some music on, have a couple of beers, cook.
No wonder he's got a swoon in this, is it? He's got a nice carbonara in.
So, but yeah, no, I wouldn't. I don't know if I want to open like a restaurant. To be fair, what I would like to do, and I keep saying this to my wife, and she keeps saying no, is open like a bar in Benidorm. I love Benidorm.
That's such a random thing.
No, it is. You know, like some places you go to and you think, oh yeah, this is really this is a bit of me. Like there's always something going on. It's a bit lively. It's tacky. It stinks of piss. Like it's brilliant. Like I love it.
I love the non-snobby attitude with all that. It's like, do you know what?
Brilliant.
I'm not going to walk over there because I was about to say like it hasn't got the reputation for being the most salubrious place in the world.
No, exactly. No, and I love it. And I said, look, I keep saying to her, look, why don't we just
move over to
start a bar? Like I'm happy to. She'd be like, oh, you won't. Kirk, you'll be moaning you're too hot and you'll just be drinking all the time.
Especially after today.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I probably would. Yeah, but yeah, no, I'd like.
So if your wife was happy with it, or you had a different wife,
don't get him in trouble with his whole family today.
then your dream job would be to open a bar.
Yeah, or maybe
in
not.
Benidorm.
Well, yeah, no, somewhere. Yeah.
That's cool.
You've stitched yourself up for the title of this video now.
Yeah.
Local businessman wants to open bar in Benidorm.
That's
No,
great.
it's just one place that I've been to a few times, and yeah, and I really like it, and I like cooking,
Yeah.
and I like drinking beer.
It sounds brilliant.
So,
no, it does.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's sort of the first thing that's sort of come.
I would love like I this was I know we're all about to die now.
Yeah, this is turned into a sauna service as well.
If just weigh yourselves when you get home because it'll be a lot lighter than. I think that I have so much sympathy with a lot of the food and drink and bars businesses because they're being run by people who know exactly what they're doing, but they're trying to make their main income off of it.
Yeah.
And I can't help but think that like I feel as though one day I'd love to open a bar in Salisbury, or I'd love to open a really nice restaurant in Salisbury and just make no money from it. But because I wouldn't need, because property would be my main income, Windows would be your main. You know what I mean? Like what you do, this business. Yeah. But actually, because to try and be premium, give a great service to people, pay the high rents, the charges, you can see how then people to try and make the money they want to make.
Yeah.
I know because I've spoken to a few people recently. I know that there's a few places that have shut in Salisbury that didn't need to. Like as in they weren't struggling, they weren't losing money.
Yeah.
They just weren't making enough.
Yeah.
For those people to be able to say this is worth doing. Do you know what I mean? And so like because and you're not doing this event, or you're not, you're skimping on your cutlery or your crockery or because you're knowing you've got to make money.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd love to, imagine you could be like, this business is flat. I'd love to just go, I don't need to take a salary from it. I'll pay a really good manager more than she's probably worth, more than they're probably worth. But more than the industry average.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So yeah, if like you said, if you had limitless money and you could do, I would like 6:30, I'd get up, smash a load of fry-ups up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somewhere abroad, you can have a beer, wash up, and then do like a lunch thing into early evening.
Yeah.
And just kind of almost like I guess maybe like a kebab shop, but with a bar.
Yeah.
I guess just somewhere like on the beach, nice weather.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
just
that would be nice.
Having a good time.
I know someone that was a restaurant manager in Salisbury that's just gone to take less money at an estate agent. And when you're a bit like my job isn't glamorous at the best of times. So I don't know. I feel as though like I do sympathise at the moment. Like I think a lot of these places are shutting that we love going because the owners going, do you know what, I could probably earn double when doing a corporate job.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
You know?
Yeah, so it is a shame.
Oh, I'd love to just go, hey, here's, I don't need that. I don't need a salary from it. Put that extra 50k a year or whatever it is into keeping the restaurant open, the right staff in there, great managers, and I feel as though we could do with and I'd love to if I was to do that, I would love to say to somebody who knows what they're doing, come on board, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll pay to consult, because I wouldn't know where to start when it comes to setting up a restaurant or a bar or anything like that.
No.
All you want is that when you walk out the door, everybody is there screaming your name.
No.
Getting your signature.
No.
Yeah, it is.
My for sale board up there going, right, call me because I need to make some money here. But no, just having that satisfaction, because you do sit in some really nice restaurants sometimes and go, it'd be quite cool to see other people enjoying the fruits of your labour.
Is one of the ones you're on about Hickson, by any chance?
Well, potentially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've name dropped them.
So, but again, I know, like I know that there's lots of that's an example. There's other ones as well, and you're like, it's a shame to see that really good places are just are doing okay, and doing well, but maybe not as well as some people can do elsewhere. And I think we need to try and keep these places open, otherwise our high street's just going to be.
We've got a lot of weight on our shoulders, haven't we? This podcast.
No, not us, but just us as Salisbury residents and local residents, right? Like, go out as much as you can.
If they come on this podcast, they'll be successful.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, we're gonna end it there. We still got one more thing to do, which is darts. Did you see any of that in the previous one?
Darts.
So it's in another room. It's another room. It's a mystery.
We've had
so you throw 3 darts and then you go on a leaderboard.
Good.
But we'll end it there. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, we'll tag you in everything and do all of that. But yeah, go and buy windows and doors from Tom.
Yeah.
Do I get to see this before it goes out?
Nope.
Nope.
Great.
Well, yes, but it'll probably be at the same time.
Yeah, you'll be at the same time as everybody else. Yeah, you didn't need to anyway, because you haven't. It's not like you said anything terrible. Well, actually, you have said pretty bad. Yeah, actually.
No, okay, so you get no warm up. That is the caveat. So hang on. Okay.
Oh, 21. When we get in the flow of it, we'll need some sort of jingle.
Salisbury Business Podcast. Salisbury Business Podcast.
Why, just off the cuff?
Yeah.
Did you just think of that?
What is that then? Why
I'm kidding. It's shit.